Hello students, welcome back to this channel. I am Dr. Chetna Kumawat and we are understanding management of working capital. In our previous lecture, we have covered concept of working capital in which balance sheet or traditional concept was discussed. We have discussed net working capital and gross working capital concept. In today's lecture, we will discuss operating cycle concept, types of working capital, and some other topics. So let's get started with operating cycle concept. This is a new concept of working capital which is becoming popular day by day. According to this concept, working capital is represented by the excess of current assets over current liabilities. Identifying the relatively liquid portion of the total enterprise capital, which constitutes a margin for meeting obligations within the ordinary operating cycle of the business. In other words, working capital is the amount required in different forms at successive stages of operation during the net operating cycle period of an enterprise. The actual amount of working capital required in a firm depends upon the length of net operating cycle and the operating expenses needed for the period. The duration or time required to complete the sequence of events right from purchase of raw materials or goods for cash to the realization of sales in cash is called the operating cycle or working capital cycle. In every business firm, the working capital at the commencement happens to be in the form of cash. Raw material is purchased with this cash. Through production process, raw material is converted into finished goods, which results in debtors or bills receivable through credit sales. In due course of time, debtors or bills receivables are realized into cash, which is again invested into raw materials. In this way, the operating cycle, as discussed, is converted from one form to another, such as cash to raw material to finished goods to debtors or bills receivables, or ultimately to the cash. On account of this, it is also called as circulating capital. The net duration of operating cycle is calculated by adding the number of days involved in the different stages of operation, commencing from purchase of raw materials and ending with collection of sale proceeds from debtors after adjusting the number of days credit allowed by suppliers. Let's take an example. If in a firm, the material storage period is 27 days, conversion period is 18 days, finished goods storage period is 27 days, and debtors collection and creditors payment periods are 37 and 17 days respectively, then operating cycle period will be 27 plus 18 plus 27 plus 36 minus 17 days, which equals to 91 days. This period is affected by traditions and policies of the firm, technical and commercial features and environmental factors, etc., as it may be more or less due to these factors. The speed with which working capital completes one cycle determines the requirement of working capital. The lesser the period of operating cycle, the smaller is the requirement of working capital. It is important. The lesser the period of operating cycle, the smaller is the requirement of working capital. For instance, in the faucet example, the operating cycle, whose period is 91 days, will be repeated 4 times in a year. How we calculated this? We have divided 365 divided by 91. So we got 4 times. Now, if total operating expenses of the firm for the year are assumed to be rupees 5 lakh, it will require rupees 1,25,000 as working capital according to this concept. 5 lakh divided by 4 is equals to 1,25,000. So this concept is more appropriate than traditional or balance sheet concept of working capital, where the funds required for carrying on the operational activities are treated as working capital. According to this concept, the necessary liquid funds required by a firm for production, administration, and selling can be determined for the whole year. If cash working capital requirements are known in advance, then non-cash current assets may be better managed. Not only this, but the operating cycle concept of working capital is also helpful in controlling the material and finished goods storage, conversion process, and cash collection policies of the management. That is why this concept is applied by the finance manager as an important tool in projecting working capital requirements of an enterprise. Now let's understand types of working capital. Working capital may be classified in two ways, that is, one on the basis of balance sheet concept and number two on the basis of time. On the basis of balance sheet concept, working capital is further classified as gross working capital and net working capital, as discussed in previous lecture. This classification is important from the point of view of the financial manager. On the basis of time, working capital may be classified as permanent or regular working capital and variable or temporary working capital, as it is shown in the figure also. We will understand all these terms one by one. Number one is permanent or regular working capital. Permanent or regular working capital represents the irreducible minimum amount that is permanently blocked in the business and that cannot be converted into cash in the normal course of business. It is required for the permanent investment in holding minimum quantity of stock of raw materials and finished goods, debtors, and cash. This amount is absolutely required throughout the year on a continuous basis for maintaining the circulation of current assets. As the business grows, the requirement of permanent working capital also increases due to increase in current assets. This portion of working capital is financed through long-term sources. Tandon Committee has identified this capital as core current assets. Permanent working capital has the following characteristics. It keeps on changing its form from one current asset to another. The size of working capital grows with the growth of business. As long as the firm is a going concern, this part of working capital cannot be substantially be reduced. Number 2. Variable or temporary working capital. Any amount over and above the permanent level of working capital is variable or temporary working capital. It keeps on fluctuating from time to time as per the changes in production and sales activities. The requirement of this part of working capital fluctuates, therefore, it should be financed from short-term funds whenever needed. Variable working capital can be further classified as seasonal working capital and specific working capital. Seasonal working capital. The capital required to meet the seasonal demands of the enterprise is called seasonal working capital. For instance, a manufacturer of woolen textile, refrigerators, or coolers may need extra funds to carry on production and to accumulate stock before the sales operations. Similarly, if the production policy favors the purchase of raw material during a particular season, extra money is required for this purpose. Seasonal working capital being of short term in nature, it has to be financed from short-term sources like bank loan, etc. Specific working capital. Specific working capital is that part of working capital which is required to meet unforeseen contingencies like slump, strike, flood, war, etc. Sometimes additional working capital is to be arranged to meet special exigencies such as launching of extensive marketing campaign, purchase of goods for stock in view of future increase in price, etc. In a manufacturing firm, the nature of permanent and variable capital differs during period of steady sales and during period of growth. So this is it for today's lecture. Thank you so much for your patience and listening to it.